had 8 strikeouts in 4 innings on the mound and hit his 39th homer. The home run was his 1,000th hit in his 8-year career. The Angels lost to Tampa Bay 5-4. The Angels struck out 16 times and did not score after the 4th inning. The LA Sparks are back in action tonight in the WNBA. They're at home against the Connecticut Sun. The Sparks are going for their 3rd straight win. The NFL suspended former USC wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of the regular season. Addison, a first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 2023, was suspended for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Addison pleaded no contest to a DUI charge in 2024. He was found asleep in his car on the 105 freeway in LA. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
My praying mama proud of a little black boy. We headline a club on the sneakers and back doors. Walk through the kitchen, got plenty ink on our passports. And not to mention our queens ain't pushing no rap forts. What you think I rap for? I'm building my legacy. Text from my heroes, hate legacy. Chase bread, my pockets got legacy. Foreign land with my brother, that's pedigree. Cause we
work hard, play hard. We work for the days off. Make time to take off. Circle right back for the payoff. Oh, work hard, play hard. We work, now we paid up. Make time and lay up. Ain't worried about what anybody says. It's okay, it's okay. Let's go play. It's okay, it's okay. Let's go play. My big sis just finished that scroll. Let's go. Baby mama got a new job. The homie Dino moved his people out of do-wop. And me and Smokey been banging at your boombox. Stay close, take notes, we in the zone. 2 words, hard work, what we been on. It ain't no denying this divine timing. Been applying pressure, now we buying diamonds.
Second home Hawaiian Islands, ain't no Panama. We leave in December, go where sun is shining.
KBLA Talk 1580. And look who's in the studio. He is the founder of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, the national field director for Black Lives Matter Grassroots, and the lead organizer for BLM Los Angeles. He's also a KBLA contributor. Host. So, yeah, well, I mean, you are hosting This Is Not a Drill on Saturday mornings intermittently, and we pull him in here as often as we can. Akili, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning to the KBLA family. I was listening before I came in. You really covered some good stuff. I think, that for me underscores the meaning, value, and impact of this of your show, but this station overall. What you covered, we generally would not hear about. What you raised, we would not hear about. What you shared with us and the details of it, I don't think we would hear about it on other radio stations. So a lot of what you covered, I was thinking, yeah. And I'm quietly saying, I'm glad I was listening this morning.
Well, thank you for that. I do my best to talk about stuff people care about, but also stuff we might be missing. And we're, I guess, in the process of naming Thursday. People are...
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, so Snack Panther says Thriving Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's pretty good. And Therapeutic Thursday was another suggestion. Tasteful Tidbit Thursday. That's a bit of a stretch. Yeah. And then Billion texted me Thankful Thursday or Together Thursday. We got a lot of contenders here. Anyway, if you get an inspiration for Thursday.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned over the years that I'm not very good at that kind of thing.
That's not your wheelhouse. Huh?
Yeah, my creativity has real strict limits.
Okay, well, one of the things I'm excited to talk to you about, of course, you've worked on many a presidential campaign.
6 of them.
6 different presidential campaigns, and you have a lot of insight. So I'm looking forward to talking about some national issues. But also, when we had the labor organizer Chris Smalls on this show, it was because you brought him to my attention several years ago, and we had him on the show talking about their organizing efforts for Amazon, which is really, I mean, that's taking on a real giant
classic David and Goliath.
Yeah, and I was really impressed by the work he was doing and what was happening with Amazon. He's an acquaintance or a colleague of yours. So talk a little bit for those not following the bouncing ball, about what happened with him when he went to Palestine, and how you and other activists just stepped up to support him when he came home.
Well, we Black Lives Matter's grassroots has a relationship with Chris going back about 5 years. We met Chris. He was out here in Los Angeles to build support for the work he was doing in New York, organizing Amazon workers. And he came to one of our weekly protests against Jackie Lacey, and he was telling us about what he was doing. And we put him on stage and let him speak. And he talked about what he was doing and the rest. And so we kept in touch over the years. I teach a class at UCLA in the Labor Studies Department, and he always, we have him, come speak in the class every year about the work he was doing. He has become the new face of labor, quite frankly. One of the things he talked to the students about is, we got to make labor cool, and we got to make labor organizing cool. And they really like that. And so we've had a relationship with him for years, Melina, myself, and other people within Black Lives Matter. And so when he took the courageous step and committed step to, and he came out early on, by the way, opposing, supporting Palestinians and opposing the genocide. So he came out early on, and he was a voice within labor about why we need to support the Palestinians. So he came out early on, and he has been out front ever since. And he was a part of a delegation of people who decided that they wanted to take relief, food, medicines, and others to the starving people who are being purposely, deliberately, and methodically starved in Palestine. And they put together a ship. They were based in Italy. They sailed from Italy to Palestine to deliver the aid. In the midst of their travels to Palestine, the Israeli Defense Forces captured them, kidnapped them in open international waters, and basically kidnapped him and targeted him. He was the only black person on the ship, and held and detained them until they were released. I was fortunate enough, and Dr. Melina Abdullah, who's the director of Black Lives Matter's Grassroots, felt that because of our relationship with Chris, that it would be good if we had somebody there to welcome him back. And I, of course, said I would love to go. And so I flew out last Thursday, as a matter of fact. Last Thursday, I caught a red eye to New York, got there early in the morning, basically turned around and went to the terminal where he was coming in, and I was there to welcome him back. It was over 200 people there. It was it was festive. People were crying. I got a chance to meet his mother, his brother, and a lot of the people he had worked with in organizing the Amazon workers. So it was great to be there. It was great to have a few minutes with him because he was, just really swamped by other people. But it was great to have a few minutes with him, and he did try to address people and talk, but he was completely overwhelmed. It was one of my proudest moments, quite frankly. I think of late, I've had in the past year, I've had some proud moments. One of the first ones. I mean,
look, you worked on Jesse Jackson's campaign.
I worked with the farm
when
workers.
It wasn't cool, like
yes,
with the farm
but I
workers,
mean,
right?
in the last year or so, one of my proudest things, two of them. One was being there to welcome him back and be there as a representative from Black Lives Matter's grassroots. The other one was standing up at the Congressional Black Caucus when Biden was speaking and shouting "Free Palestine," which didn't go over well. And I was ushered out right. But I was proud to do it. It was something that Black Lives Matter's grassroots decided, if we're going to be there in that presence, then we at least need to live up to our beliefs and principles. So since I was there, I was kind of asked and designated to be the voice.
I saw the clip, and I heard about the pushback from the mainstream Democratic Party, but proud moments for you. You probably.
I do have a lot of them.
You have a lot of them.
Do. But just within the last year, these are some of my proudest moments, proudest political moments. And it was good to see him welcome back like he was. Like I said, he was targeted when the Israelis attacked him, when they attacked the flotilla, the boat. Mm-hmm. And then he was targeted. And one of the things he talked about is the kind of racism that he saw and felt in a real way when they came aboard and when they brutalized them. And so,
clearly, I mean, he's the only black person
only
on
black
the flotilla, and he's the only one that was kicked, punched, and thrown down to the ground.
It says he was a little sore.
What could possibly be the reason for that?
Yes. But I think for me, being there and being able to connect with him, his courage, his compassion, and his commitment, really came through both before and after. And I think it underscores, for me, the next generation of black leaders that are coming. I say this a lot. I'm a bridge between yesterday and today for Black Lives Matter's grassroots, and it is their time. It is I was shaped and developed during the Black Power and Black Consciousness and Black Nationalist movement. That was my era, the late 60s through the 80s. And I'm proud of all that work that I did. But now it's people like you and Melina and him. This is your time. Make your mistakes. Develop and advance your best ways. And with people like him and Melina and others, I feel very good that the movement is in good hands.
Well, that's quite an endorsement right there. Huffington Post has a headline for today that could apply to our search. Tariff Thursday. No, we're not doing that. But they do kick in today, and they kick in all around the world up to like 100%. So if you thought things were expensive before, brace yourself. And it's all about to become very, very, very clear. When we come forward, I do want to get your thoughts about what's happening in Texas, the gerrymandering to create new seats in the House of Representatives for the Republicans, the pushback from Dems, mostly Governor Gavin Newsom, and now one senator says the FBI is getting involved. That and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Exciting news, ladies! Always Discreet Boutique Bladder Leak underwear are available in black and printed design. Protect yourself with style. These fit and feel just like real underwear, and they give you up to 0 leaks, 0 odor. Designed for all shapes and sizes, they give you the confidence to be fully yourself. Don't let bladder leaks hold you back. Buy Always Discreet Boutique Bladder Leak underwear now.
Febreze.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze fabric spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Akili is with me. As I said, you guys know what you said. 6 presidential campaigns.
Yep, starting in 1980.
Wow, starting in 80, going all the way back. To me, that's legacy because, you know, I remember, I was very young, but I remember when Jesse Jackson ran. It was a big deal.
It was.
We hadn't had Obama. And not only that, Jesse was way, way more progressive than Barack Obama.
Well, and for me, both having worked in his 84 and at 88 national campaign, he opened the door for Obama. Jesse registered over 3 million people. He increased voter participation and turnout by 60% in every state he was in. We won. In those days, in 88, they clumped the South together, and it was supposed to be the Super Tuesday. He won most of the southern states, and that catapulted him. And I remember, because then I think we went after the Super Tuesday. I wound up in New York, and then I came out here. But he opened the door for Obama, and he made it both practical, legitimate, and likely that a black person could be president.
Also, I think the whole, even though we laugh at it, the whole Rainbow Coalition concept was promoting a kind of diversity that doesn't erase blackness. When we talk about diversity now, a lot of people don't even like the term BIPOC, even though it's black, indigenous, and people of color, because there's a complaint that black disappears into people of color.
Yep.
There was no erasure of blackness with the Rainbow Coalition. And I think the kind of coalition work that Jackson did is something that's really needed right now.
Well, one of the things, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, just recently for the 10th commemoration of the movement for Black Lives. But I was there in 2008 for 2004 for Kerry, and again in 2008. But the first time I was there was for Jesse in '88. And I remember going through the countryside with him and meeting voters, and he made sense to them. Working white people, he made sense to them. They couldn't bring themselves to support a black person, but they all said he made sense, that what he was saying was made sense to them. It was practical. It was doable. And some of them did vote for him because we did do very well in Ohio. But they did talk about he made sense, that they liked him. They couldn't necessarily overcome their anti-blackness and racism, but they did like him.
Wow. Well, in any case, that to me, that's groundbreaking work, and I wish we can at least get some of the spirit of unity, because right now it does feel quite fractured in this country, not just between Republicans and Democrats, even within the Latino communities, within black communities, within Asian communities, where some people are drinking the MAGA Kool-Aid.
Well, one of the things that you hear, two things I think you hear happening. One, and I'll give you an example, 4 weeks ago, right here in Los Angeles, the Black Women for Wellness pulled together black leadership to talk about the need to stand up and fight back against this fascism, particularly as it's directed toward immigrants. Nana Jumphy, who is the executive director of the Black Americans for Just Immigration, has been consistently talking about it. But so there have been and continue to be efforts to bring us together, because there's some of us who have been saying, well, we can afford to sit this out. I think we're seeing that we can't afford to sit this out because ICE will not distinguish between Haitians and Nigerians and other people who are here and just regular black folks on the street. And you saw an example was this brother who was picked up in Texas, whose parents were his parents were Haitian, but he was born on a U.S. base in Germany, and he is a U.S. citizen. But he was picked up and deported within 4 days. Now they're fighting to get him back, and so and I talk about this a lot. This fascism and white supremacy that's in the White House is like a fire. Fire doesn't recognize borders. Fire doesn't recognize what's good and bad. It burns, and it burns everybody. And I remember making a comment at this press conference. There's an old African proverb: when you see a corn eating your neighbor's corn, when you see a crow eating your neighbor's corn, shoo it away, for tomorrow it'll be eating your corn, because the crow will eat corn. Doesn't matter whose corn it is.
Right.
And that's what we have in front of us. So there is a coming together. And I hear a lot of we need to come together. And so I haven't heard that almost since 1996 and the Million Man March, 95, the Million Man March. And we're coming up on the 30th year of that.
That's wild.
That sentiment that happened during, we did come together. And we have come together consistently ever since we've been here. So the threat, I think, is bringing us together. The belief that the traditional norms that were in place are all broken down now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you're an activist and you follow the news. I'm not sure if that message has gotten through to. I guess it is. It's not. It doesn't seem like it's gotten through to the average American at this point, because people are not reacting in mass. Anyway, Senator John Cornyn, who's a Republican from Texas, saying today that the FBI is going to help track down those Democratic state lawmakers who left the state in order to stop that redistricting gerrymandering plan that the president asked for. He wants those extra seats in the House of Representatives so he can have a permanent majority, Republican majority in Congress. The FBI chasing down Democratic lawmakers, does that sound legal, constitutional? I mean, it's not like they committed murder and they're fugitives from the law. They're breaking a quorum.
Well, I think it is, first of all, Cornyn, who has never had a good relationship with the mega base, is doing this to appeal to them. He's up for re-election. He's being, being attacked, if you will, by the Attorney General Paxton, who was impeached in his own state, and is really connecting to the mega base. And so Cornyn had to think of something to do. First of all, they didn't break a federal law, so I don't know what the FBI is going to do. But it doesn't matter.
And plus, everyone knows where they are. There's no investigation needed.
Yeah.
What they could do is arrest them, though.
Well, on what charge? Well, what Abbott is talking about is trying to file charges on them, or issue subpoenas, rather.
He's talking about abandonment of office.
Yeah, and the Governor Abbott of Texas is talking about removing them from their seats and subpoenaing them. That kind of. Cornyn is doing this, I think, to try to appeal to the mega base and to Trump. And what Trump is doing is no different than what he did in Florida when he said he needed 11,500 votes.
Right.
When he picked up the phone and said,
I need 5 seats in Congress.
Yeah, I need 5 seats in Congress. And then people are responding. But that's how fascists work. That's how authoritarian governments work. And what is happening, and I think your point earlier, is that it's slowly beginning to sink in that the norms that provided the guardrails for the kind of society that we thought we lived in are all gone. Within 6 months of this presidency, he's torn down those norms and those guardrails. And you have not been personally affected, so you think, well, that's happening in Texas, is that happening? But 2 areas: the economy. I mean, the fact that he fired the head of the Labor Statistics Department
because he didn't like the jobs report.
Yeah, he didn't like
that. Reminds me of the Sharpie. Remember the Sharpie?
Oh yeah, we did.
No, cross out this part of the jobs report. And then did you see the other report that I think it was Smithsonian posted the Constitution without the parts that Trump didn't like?
And they took out...
Edited the Constitution, though?
And they took out the fact that he had been impeached twice.
Right.
They took that out, too. But this is what authoritarians do. They are interested in 2 things, domination and power. Power and domination, because you need power to dominate. And so he doesn't care. There's enough people... And one of the things I've talked about, the courts won't save us. The parties won't save us, Democrat or Republicans. The only thing I think we have is each other and our willingness to go to the streets and protest, challenge, confront, and disrupt. Those are the only things that we can do to resist and push back. Because the assumption that we can count on all those other institutions clearly has been put aside. And what's happening in Texas is an example of it. And so Cornyn is appealing to Trump, and he's appealing to the MAGA base because he's up for re-election. There doesn't seem to be any federal statutes that have been broken, so I don't know what the FBI is going to investigate. But it sounds good. It sounds like he's gonna do something.
Lock them up.
Yes.
Lock them up.
And one of the things that this president has been adept at is sound bites that says, that, and because there's a large sentiment of people in this community that the libs, so he's taking it to the libs.
He's owning the libs. It was the Library of Congress, not the Smithsonian, that deleted the part of the Constitution that Trump doesn't like.
But it did in the Smithsonian, too. They took out the impeachment.
Yeah, and then they're saying it was a coding error. 800-920-1580. News, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Brie Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says there's a good chance he'll meet with Vladimir Putin soon as his ceasefire deadline with Russia nears.
We had some very good talks with President Putin, and there's a very good chance that we could be ending the end of that road.
After a 3-hour meeting between Trump's envoy and Putin, Trump warned of sanctions if Russia doesn't agree to end its war with Ukraine by Friday. A federal judge is weighing whether to extend a temporary block on Mississippi's new DEI ban. House Bill 1193 would prohibit public schools and colleges from promoting diversity programs. Judge Henry Wingate heard arguments Tuesday but hasn't ruled yet. And Salt and Peppa are suing Universal Music Group, claiming the label is blocking their music and refusing to return rights to their master recordings. The duo says they met all legal requirements, but UMG won't honor their copyright termination rights. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's baseball teams lost at home last night. St. Louis beat the Dodgers 5-3. Impressive night for Shohei Ohtani in the loss. He had 8 strikeouts in 4 innings on the mound and hit his 39th homer. The home run was his 1,000th hit in his 8-year career. The Angels lost to Tampa Bay 5-4. The Angels struck out 16 times and did not score after the 4th inning. The LA Sparks are back in action tonight in the WNBA. They're at home against the Connecticut Sun. The Sparks are going for their 3rd straight win. The NFL suspended former USC wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of the regular season. Addison, a first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 2023, was suspended for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Addison pleaded no contest to a DUI charge in 2024. He was found asleep in his car on the 105 freeway in LA. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
And Akili is here. Akili, Black Lives Matter, Grassroots, and BLM Los Angeles. You guys stay active in these streets, and I think we would be remiss if we didn't take the opportunity to let folks know how to follow the activist work you're doing now.
We are on all socials all the time. BLM, you can go to blmgrassroots.org or at blmgrassroots.org. You can go to at blmla.org. So we're on all the socials, starting with BLM, but you got to do grassroots because you don't want to get confused with other people and other things. There are people out there who are masquerading, who are perpetrating to be Black Lives Matters. They wear the T-shirt, but they ain't never been on the team.
Okay, leave it right there at BLM Grassroots. So I mentioned the tariffs because a lot of those tariffs, the Huffington Post says Tariff Thursday, a lot of them take effect today. And we already are in the middle of inflation. The unemployment numbers were not good. How do you see the tariff situation, this Liberation Day, so-called Liberation Day, where the president says he's leveling the playing field with trade with other countries?
Yeah, he has believed that for a long time. First of all, let us all come to the understanding that tariffs are taxes. There's taxes on income, there's taxes on sales, and a tariff is a tax on merchandise being shipped in. So it's a tax. Somebody's going to pay that tax. The merchants themselves are not going to pay it because it doesn't benefit them to pay it. It reduces the resources to them. So somebody's going to pick up that payment. It means consumers are going to pick it up. So if there's a tariff of 15% or 20% or he talked about 50% at one time for certain countries, somebody's going to pay that tax. It's going to be the U.S. consumer. It's going to be you and I that pay that tax. And it's two things you can see right away. The auto industry is willing to eat that tariff tax because they know that if they put it on consumers to pay, they won't sell the cars. And so they're willing to eat that tax. But at some point, it's going to be passed on to consumers because that's how tariffs work. And I'm not an economist, but almost any first-year economist would tell you that tariffs are taxes. Yeah. And that's what this is. He has become obsessed with it. He first lied and said, well, we're going to reinvest it in the U.S. and we're going to bring back jobs and the rest. That would take a decade to do, first of all. So that was not real. And then it's been fickled. Like he put a 15% tax on Brazil because he didn't like what they were doing to Bolsonaro.
Who is the Brazilian Trump, basically.
Yes, yeah. Who was voted out of office and who tried to orchestrate a coup to get back in, and he's being prosecuted. Now, he put a 15% tax on the Brazilians. What does that do how does that impact the U.S. economy, what they are doing in their country?
Yeah. Well, he's still threatening 50% on India because they are buying oil from Russia. So now it's not just about a trade imbalance. It's him trying to, in your Brazilian example, trying to control other countries' policies using taxes as leverage.
And once again, first of all, the short-sighted. But secondly, the American people wind up absorbing that cost. And so he uses it as a tool. And he says he's this great negotiator and all the rest, the art of the deal and the rest. And his history seems to be the opposite of, he doesn't make good deals at all. For himself, maybe, but he doesn't make good deals generally.
Yeah. Well, even the ones he does, some of the ones he does for himself are actually illegal. I don't know why he's getting away with it, but I guess they're good if you get away with it.
But all the norms are gone.
Right.
All the things that you and I used to assume, we used to think that the courts would do certain things. We used to think that Congress would do certain things. This so-called balance of power that was supposed to exist that the founding fathers put in place. All that's gone. It's him and what he wants. And he wants power and dominance.
And according to the BBC, the overall average U.S. tariff rate is at its highest in almost a century when you count the industry-specific taxes and the overall taxes. I just don't see how that doesn't end up harming the economy, which is one of the things, Republicans will have to run on in 2026 and 2028.
Well, I think by 2028, the impact will be felt. It may not be felt in 2026. I mean, the two things, this atrocious bill that was passed just recently won't kick in until toward the end of 2026. And so a lot of members of Congress will be able, they think, to slide. But certainly by 2028, the impact will be fully felt across the country, and we will see. Two things I think he's going to try to do. He wants to extend, and as a matter of fact, there are mega hats that you can get right now that says, Make America Great 2028. He is assuming that he's going to run,
which is unconstitutional, but he probably doesn't care.
Nope. I mean, birthright citizenship is in the Constitution,
right?
And he's writing an executive order that supposedly overturned, and the court is willing to consider it.
Yep, here comes the the Sharpie again, and things that go beyond even what I was thinking, and some people said I was being hyperbolic around the election, but another thing that goes on the list of stuff I can't say I saw coming really is that Israel is now talking about expanding their occupation of Gaza and basically taking over the whole thing. I mean, now I believe it's because Trump in that press conference got up and talked about Trump Gaza and his vision for a completely gentrified, if you will, Gaza that's more or less like a resort. And now Israel's security cabinet is talking today about a plan to reoccupy Gaza. I don't know when it was unoccupied.
No, I was going to say they've occupied it since 1967, so it's not and they have violated international law every year since then. So they've occupied. I mean, we would say occupied Palestine since I can remember. So it's not a question of reoccupation. I do think that the combination of the fascism that exists here and the racism and apartheid government in Israel reinforce each other. So Trump makes these off-the-cuff statements about it would be great, land property to because it's on the sea.
Right.
It would be great property to develop and the rest. That, it completely denies and dismisses the Palestinian people.
Right.
And if you commit genocide, then you don't have to worry about them.
And what is it that allows them to be completely dismissed, one wonders?
Well, if you starve, if you deliberately starve people, if you deliberately bomb people, if you deliberately kill people, then and within 2 years there won't be any Palestine. Any Palestinians. The other thing that the Netanyahu government has put forward, the Israeli government has put forward, is this concept of well, really these are concentration camps, but a place in northern Palestine to remove everybody who's certainly in Gaza now and move them to northern Palestine, which is where the West Bank is, and that this would be a place that they would settle and Indian reservation, but it would be voluntary. You could come or go. so it wouldn't be like jail. All of these proposals ultimately lead to or grow from genocide. The Israelis intend to eliminate any vestige of Palestinian people.
800-920-1580 if you'd like to weigh in, unpacking what's going on nationally. Impossible to get to all of it, but happy to have Akili here with me and you as well on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI. It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Akili is here, and I was really interested in the vibe at that Chris Smalls Welcome Back. When he came from the flotilla, you said he was exhausted. Well, what the people seemed very fired up.
Oh yeah, it was a euphoria. A lot of people were crying, but there was euphoria. There were drums beating. the police, a lot of police showed up, which kind of was distractful. But people were euphoric. They rushed up, and he couldn't even move at one point. They had to try to get us to step back so he could get through the crowd. And I think it underscores how people really valued his contribution and his courage to do what he did. People came from Boston, all around the New York region. I flew out from L.A. And it was almost like a rock star kind of thing.
Well, the thing that I notice is that it feels like the needle is moving a little bit about Gaza, that with the mainstream media and with the average person, everyday people that don't follow politics that closely, because nobody wants to starve babies. That's the bottom line. So, and I think the timing of that flotilla, with people understanding that there is a famine going on that doesn't have to be happening because the food is right across the border.
Well, it's really within the border. There were at one time 400 distribution stations in Palestine. There are only 4 now, and the 4 that are operating this so-called Gaza Freedom Foundation, where they basically, as Palestinians come out to get the food, they become targets.
Right, they shoot them. Yeah, it's actually over 100. I think it's closer to 200 that have been killed.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Just trying to get food. So I think public opinion is shifting, and I'm hoping that even though Congress failed to stop the offensive weaponry, I'm hoping that the international pressure, because it's not just us, other countries now saying that they'll recognize Palestine next month. I'm hoping that means that at least we can get that aid in there.
Yeah, and Canada said that they would be willing. Canada and England both said that they would be willing to recognize Palestine, which certainly defeats the Israeli interest. That their interest is genocide and complete erasure of Palestinians.
And really, what we're talking about is the Netanyahu coalition, because there's been a lot of people marching in Tel Aviv saying, not in our name, and
free the hostages.
And yeah, of course, free the hostages, and they should be freed, but also feed the babies.
Yes. And that's slowly one of the things that has occurred. The Israeli press censored all this information, so a lot of information that Israelis gets is censored, and they have to go around the censorship. But in the last 2 weeks, Israelis have been exposed to the horrors of the genocide that's going on in Palestine, and the movement is now saying, "Not in our name," and people are beginning to protest the Netanyahu government, and so that may bring them to do some of the things that are some basic humanitarian things, but they are intent. This is a classic definition of genocide, what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians.
Interesting that all of Africa has already recognized Palestine, along with China, India, Russia, Brazil, almost all of Central and South America, and now Canada, France, and the UK are saying they will. So the people that don't recognize Palestine is actually the minority, but it's a powerful
minority.
Western minority.
Yeah.
It's Australia, the United States, most of Europe, and Greenland. So that's, this is changing, and hopefully it has real impact on the ability to have a humane kind of relationship between Israel and Palestine. You got some protests coming up
every Wednesday, and you made reference to Hochman earlier in your program about why every Wednesday we are in front of the Hall of Injustice at 211 West Temple Street at 4 p.m. Because we have targeted Hochman for 3 reasons. 1, because he has said he's going to prosecute protesters, not killer cops. 2, he has reinstituted the use of the death penalty. And 3, he's taking tens of millions of dollars from these police associations, to win his office and to stay in office. And so for those reasons and more, we have been protesting and calling out Nathan Hochman. We're saying that he needs to go, just like we said Jackie
So
Lacey
when you
needs
say
to go.
targeting, you just want him to step down?
Immediately.
Highly
if not-
unlikely, though.
Well, but, Jackie Lacey didn't want to step down, but she wound up stepping down. Once we began to educate people about what the district attorney is doing, the impact that it's having in our community, and then mobilizing people to say, no, your time is up. And that's what we're doing with Nathan Hochman. Every Friday, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. at 211 South Central. And, of course, this Sunday at 7 p.m. Is our monthly organizing meeting where we will be commemorating Black August. And one of the things that Melina talked about yesterday that we don't celebrate Black August, we commemorate Black August. And very quickly, Black August is the prisoner rights movement that grew, that developed after the murder and prosecution of George Jackson and his brother Jonathan Jackson, and it is a way to say free all the political prisoners. And most of the black folks who are locked up today are political prisoners. I was a political prisoner. I didn't go in as a political prisoner, but one of the things about being locked up is that you become politicized while you're in. And so we are celebrating. We are commemorating Black August. So come out and join us.
And you're really adamant about the fact that it's not a celebration because we're talking about people who were killed, murdered inside of the carceral system. Well,
On the one hand, they want to free the Mendez brothers who murdered their parents.
Right, the Menendez brothers.
But yet Jay Burton, who was locked up at 16, supposedly for a robbery, and somebody that he may or may not have been involved with, and fingerprints that show that he was someplace else that he can't get. He's been locked up since he was 16. He's 53 now, 54 now.
That's crazy.
But they want to release the Mendez brothers who killed their parents.
So that's why it's not a celebration, it's a commemoration.
It's a commemoration.
Some people fast, they commit to reading and other kinds of study.
Well, fast, study, fight.
Fast, study, and fight. That's the study part is where the reading comes in. And
yes.
The fight part is what? Protest.
Protest, yes.
I don't mean, get in bar fights.
Yes. And the other thing is fast, study, and fitness. If we want to be fit.
Fast, study, fight, and fit.
And be fit, yes. And Melina covered it yesterday, I think, and had on Jay Burton, who called us. And so we want to also lift up Jay Burton because it's time that he is freed. He is simply being held. I mean, this is classic political prisoner. He needs to be freed.
Well, we got a minute here. Akili, what do you want to leave us with?
Come out and join us Sunday at 7 p.m. at 3424 43rd Place, right behind the metro station at the Center for Black Power for our monthly organizing meeting.
That's Lamert Park, Africatown,
yes.
By the way. And, of course, every Wednesday. And then you're co-hosting on Saturday, right?
Yes, I'm going to be in with Dr. Melina Abdullah as we go through This Is Not a Drill, the weekly Black Lives Matters program here.
Okay, so if you want to hear more of Akili, do so on Thursday. This is terrible because we have 30 seconds to news, traffic, and sports, and I'm doing everything I can to resist asking you about the governor's race. So we'll have to talk about that next week or the week after next. It's going to be exciting. And you know a lot of the players personally.
Yes.
You've worked with a lot of the players. To be continued. Akili, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I appreciate
and thank you for having me. I always enjoy coming in.
And for all the work you do. We're talking about the Black LGBTQ plus experience next. South LA Pride is coming up on Saturday, so it's a timely conversation. After news, traffic, and sports, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bray Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says there's a good chance he'll meet with Vladimir Putin soon as his ceasefire deadline with Russia nears.
We had some very good talks with President Putin, and there's a very good chance that we could be ending the end of that road
After a 3-hour meeting between Trump's envoy and Putin, Trump warned of sanctions if Russia doesn't agree to end its war with Ukraine by Friday. A federal judge is weighing whether to extend a temporary block on Mississippi's new DEI ban. House Bill 1193 would prohibit public schools and colleges from promoting diversity programs. Judge Henry Wingate heard arguments Tuesday but hasn't ruled yet. And Salt and Pepper are suing Universal Music Group, claiming the label is blocking their music and refusing to return rights to their master recordings. The duo says they met all legal requirements, but UMG won't honor their copyright termination rights. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's baseball teams lost at home last night. St. Louis beat the Dodgers 5-3. Impressive night for Shohei Ohtani in the loss. He had 8 strikeouts in 4 innings on the mound and hit his 39th homer. The home run was his 1,000th hit in his 8-year career. The Angels lost to Tampa Bay 5-4. The Angels struck out 16 times and did not score after the 4th inning. The LA Sparks are back in action tonight in the WNBA. They're at home against the Connecticut Sun. The Sparks are going for their 3rd straight win. The NFL suspended former USC wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of the regular season. Addison, a first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 2023, was suspended for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Addison pleaded no contest to a DUI charge in 2024. He was found asleep in his car on the 105 freeway in LA. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! Give people what they want.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
For the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented.